This is a woman that I told the story about, who has been, she could be anywhere in the world because she's more success, she has more success in her little finger than most of us have accomplished in our lifetime, all of us together from around the world. And she's here today to train us on how she did what she did and how you and I can maximize her opportunity. She's flown from Florida today. She's here today. It's my honor. She's created a mentorship program that she's been changing lives. Mine will never be the same because of this woman. So thankful and honored to introduce to you Miss Laurie Rubidge. Please give her.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here live. I'm in San Antonio! Yay! I'm so excited to be here and welcome around the world, and thank you, Ms. Ionescu, for such a beautiful introduction. It's what I want to share with you, and I'm very humbled by that incredible introduction. But trust me when I say to you that I have been very, very fortunate to have people come into my life that believed in me and that wanted me to have everything that I potentially could have in this lifetime. And not just in a financial basis, but in every aspect. They wanted me to be happy, they wanted me to be healthy, they wanted me to be financially secure, they wanted me to be able to have great family time. And you know, that is such a gift when you have mentors in your life that will go out of their way to be able to help you become not only a better person, but help you to become the best that you can be. And for me to be able to, I'll just share with you very briefly here, my whole start of my industry was not traditional. I have a college education with a marketing and speech communications degree, and I appreciate having my college education. By the way, educators, in my world, in my mind, are the most overworked, underpaid people.
Yes, right.
And it's, I get chills when I think about what they have to deal with today. It's just unbelievable how many people are literally asking these educators to raise their children, discipline their children, and these teachers are handcuffed, and it's just, and I don't mean literally, but sometimes it's just unbelievable what some of the things that I hear. So when I talk about education, I don't want you to think I'm putting down my education. I'm so grateful to be able to not only have my education, but I actually put myself through college. I was born in a with my 5 brothers and sisters in a 2-bedroom home. And it was actually a 1-bedroom home, but my father made the second room that was like a den into a bedroom, so he always says, it was a 2-bedroom home. I'm like, okay, Dad. It was a 2-bedroom home. And literally coming from that humble beginning was such a gift. Because when I got a chance to finish school, put myself through college, bartended my way through school, worked every job possible. I definitely came from a blue-collar background. And so when I got a chance, when I was 22 years old, I packed up a 73 Cougar with Bondo all over it. If you don't know what Bondo is, it makes your car look like it's there when it's not there, okay? And I'm just, y'all laughing going, oh, I had a couple of those. And so for you to understand that when I packed up everything I had, I moved out to Southern California because I wanted to make my dreams come true. My parents were devastated. They were so afraid, like, what is she going to do in California? And oh my gosh, who's she going to meet? And you know, and so on and so forth. In about 2 weeks being out in California, I got a chance to be able to call an advertisement in the newspaper. And that advertisement said, driver Mercedes. Now, I looked out the window at my 73 Cougar a few times and said, I have no idea what this is about, but I want to come check it out. And I called over the phone. Some of you around the world found our program through a LEAD program, which we actually, back in 1988, was advertising in the newspaper. That's how the people would find different people to be able to introduce to the system. And when I called this advertisement, the guy on the phone was from Illinois, and that's where I'm from, the suburbs of Chicago. And so when he said he was from Illinois and I was from Illinois, I mean, he could have been an icky person, but because we're from the same, you know, I'm like, oh, I don't know, it was like my new best friend. Right, out in California, didn't know a soul, and now all of a sudden the guy's from Illinois, like, You know, I've known him his whole life because we're from the same state, which is crazy. And I know people around the world are listening to this, but just imagine your same city, then you get a chance to be able to communicate with somebody. And what ended up happening is I walked into something that I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. And I'm from the Midwest, so I have a lot of, like, structure. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have any of you from the East Coast, and I apologize, I know we've got people all over the world that have their cultures of who's more, like, structured, what culture is more, you know what I mean? Like, everyone around the world, it doesn't matter what country we're in, we all have those people who are the outgoing, and then those people more reserved, those people are more friendly, those people more taken back. And so for me, being in a very conservative type growing mindset, these people in California and anywhere around the world, you guys will appreciate this. You probably have seen enough Baywatch to know. Like, they're all like wild, like, ah, no! And I'm like, it totally freaked me out. You know, it totally took me back a little bit because I was like, you're too friendly. And here's what my parents taught me. If it sounds too good to be true, it is, right? So here all these people were beautiful, and they were classy, and they were dressed well, and they're like, you're perfect. And I'm like, ah, for what? You know what I mean? I'm like, this is what my parents warned me about. You know, like people saying to, oh yes, you'll be just perfect, you know? And I'm like, what do I have to do for that just perfect, you know? And so what ended up happening is I got a chance to meet people for the very first time, and I definitely believe that there was destiny in the works here. It was 8 of 88. I walked in, saw a group of people that literally put me underneath their wing, and they were good people. That gentleman who took that phone call, we talked 48 hours ago. We're still the best of friends. I am the godmom to his son, who is now in the military, and we're communicating every day, every week about his family. There was destiny in the works. That one phone call changed my life. And I walked into something, and these people wanted me to be able to learn how to build a business if I was willing to do what it took. And let me say if. Because a lot of people anywhere around the world, there is a ridiculous mentality of entitlement.
That's right. Right.
Mm-hmm. How many of you know exactly what I'm talking about?
Yes.
People, and especially the younger generation, it's getting so scary what they expect. It's scary what they want without putting any effort into it. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You probably have seen it in your careers, where you're working beside someone and you actually have to slow down your work or your drive because other people, I literally had somebody tell me that they were scolded for being so driven because it's making everyone else in the compartment look bad.
Yes.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But these folks showed me something 25 years ago now, which is crazy, right? 25 years ago. I'm still 25. It's not. Can't still hold on to that. But the fact is, for me, guys, when I got a chance to be able to see something, they put me underneath their wing. They said, Laurie, we're going to teach you how to build what's called residual income. And I know this sounds ignorant, ladies and gentlemen, I did not know what residual income was. Most people who have ever been associated to residual either wrote a fabulous song or was a famous actor around the world, did a movie or something that they would get paid if it kept coming on, or so on and so forth. I didn't know it. And I know insurance industry pays residually if you're able to get people to buy policies. So I understand it today. I didn't know what it was. They said, we're going to teach you what residual income is about. We're going to teach you how to build something in 88 that you get paid in 1989 for, without doing anything else. By building what you built in 88, having an additional income coming in, no matter what you do in 1989 from what you did in 1988. And I'm like, I like this. Do you understand? And then they said, what you do in 1988 and what you do in 1989, we're going to show you how you're going to have income coming in 90 from what you did from that last year and a half. And I'm like, I was never taught this in college. I have a marketing degree. I was never taught this. I was taught to work linear income. You go to work, you get paid. If you don't go to work, you
Don't
get paid, exactly. And so I never even knew. And these entrepreneurs put me underneath their wing. They showed me principles in business that I was not familiar with. And no shock I wasn't familiar with. I come from very humble beginnings. So it was a little bit like a square peg in a round hole. It was not easy for me to conceive. It wasn't easy for me to be able to think that I could ever hit a six-figure income. It wasn't easy for me to be able to think that I could have success growing up in a very humble beginning. But I was a slow learner, and I'm not afraid to tell you that. I was somebody who had to figure out things 2 or 3 times when other natural people who just got it or who really were sharp just got it right off the bat. But because I had persistence, because I didn't give up, because I believed in going out there and building something great for me and my family, that I said, I'm not going to quit, even when I should have quit. I should have quit. And why I say that is because everything was telling me to quit. The bank account, the lack of success, my lack of confidence, but I didn't give up. And what ended up happening is I utilized something that in business, unless you're an owner of a company, you really don't get a chance to be able to do. And I utilized what we call OPE, other people's efforts. And I found people more talented than myself. And it wasn't about me finding people and then I got success because I found people. It was because I introduced people that started getting faster success than me. How many of you know anybody, 2 or 3 people talented? How many of you know anybody more talented than ourselves? Some people, and I appreciate that. Some people go, and talented, I don't think that's possible. Let me think, Lucy. No, I do know talented people, not quite like me, but, and the fact is for you guys to understand what happened for me. Thank you so much. What happened for me to have the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to find people more talented than myself, I introduced them to people who had made millions of dollars. I wasn't the person who trained them, not from the beginning. I helped them with the minor stuff. I helped them with the little stuff. But I introduced them to people that already had documented success. And what happened is my business built into the thousands. Then a couple years later, it built into the tens of thousands. And I made my first $1 million by the time I was 26 years old. We do not make financial claims here. We're good. We're good, Mr. Christensen. Everything's good. Thank you. We don't make financial claims here. And why I want to share that with you folks is because what you do here with us, what you choose to do with us, is what you'll get out of this. Don't think because you plug into this, automatically success happens.
Yeah.
If somebody comes on board, there's still work involved. But ironically enough, if you and I got a job, they would expect us to work. Would you agree?
Right.
Or else we would be asked to leave.
Yeah.
You don't get to just show up and get a check. There's expectations. The difference is we're not asking you to build something for us. We're asking you to build something for you.
Yes.